Hi there, I'm Zenter, and this is Minecraft. I like to be productive, and between my projects I like to play games. Unfortunately, every once in a while I start playing Minecraft, which kills my productivity, at least outside of Minecraft. So anyway, this is me. I am He-Man, because I have got the power. And this used to be our home. Me and a friend is running this server, which is running the Valhelsia modpack that we haven't tried out before, so it's kind of fun. So this used to be our home. We used to have a couple of beds here that we stole from some villagers, and some workbenches, you know, furnaces. We used to mine down here. It was all going well, but we decided to make a factory, because that's anyway what we usually do. We just dig a whole big cave and start doing machinery and stuff like that in these mod packs. And we decided that we wanted a structure for this time, make it a bit prettier. So not all of this existed at the time, but my friend decided to build this factory, which at first was just a big block of wooden planks. And in it, of course, we wanted to have a storage unit thingy, which we can access and we can search for things, because keeping things in boxes is fun for a little while, but it becomes tedious, and I will never put the right thing in the right box, and it will just deteriorate. And of course we wanted some machines like smelting factories and stuff like that. We needed materials for these, and we got a ways in the beginning. We had some furnaces and stuff like that. We got this set up with the amount that we had already mined, but we did not really have enough. We never have enough, so I wanted to go mining again, but we didn't have any great food production going yet. We had a few seeds. We got like some wheat, some aubergines, beans and strawberry bushes, but it wasn't really enough to go mining properly. So I realized that every time I play Minecraft I build these elaborate farms and whatnot fairly early, but you can just fish, right? Fish is pretty good food in the beginning, and all you need is like some strings and some sticks. You got a rod, you get some fish. So I was looking through fish, because this mod has a aquatic mod added, so there's a lot of new fish, and you get some cooking mods as well. So I looked through the recipe list and I found this squid ink pasta, which nets 7 foodie thingies and 13 saturation, which is great. You only have like 10 or something like that. Yeah, so, and it's fairly easy to make. You need tomato, which we had. You need some fish, which I said is easy, and some ink sac, which is just killing squids, which is also easy, and some pasta, which is wheat and egg, which isn't all that terrible to make either. So I decided to go fishing, and while my friend was setting up everything here, doing his thing. So as you can tell by the map, there is an ocean to the east of our place. Not that far either. So, for example, this was the farm that I mentioned. And keep in mind that this farm at this time was just some wheat hanging around over here, some adzuki sprouts, which is bean, some strawberry bushes that my friend had found when he was exploring and finding the village and grabbing the beds. So this is east, right? I decided to go fishing, so I made a trusty rod, an iron fishing rod, and I realized the fishing mod had a lot of different customizations for rod and stuff like that. So I built a tackle box with some resources that I still had, built some hooks, but unfortunately it didn't work. I don't know if it's a bug on this version of Valhelsia, but you can place the tackle box, you can open it, so you can't use that. Anyway, then it didn't take a lot of time to figure out, so I decided to go fishing, and there's this hill here, or mountain, and I figured I'd go fishing quite often, right? So I don't want to deal with that. So I just made a hole. That's not the hole. I started making a hole. Decided, nah, this is too much. I'll just go over here instead. So I realized that this is a steeper wall, so I made a hole, which turned out to be a little cave. So that's fairly easy. And I came to this place. So you can see, you got dolphin, some reddish fishies, maybe salmon, and some squids that I told you about. So as it turns out, well, you can fish like regular. Put this out here, and eventually fish will come, and you'll retract it, and you kill the fish, and you get the fish. Kill the fish, get the fish. And also these guys, you can just swim out here. You can kill it, and the stuff should float to the surface. You get the stuff. So what I did was I built a boat like this, crafting table, some planks, make a boat, put the boat in the water, go into the boat, and oh, there's the squid. There's a squid. You push a button to exit the boat. Hunt down the squid. Oh, he inked me. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. This does not meet my standards of efficiency at all. So, I decided I could just hunt them with a bow. I should be able to, like, find them. Didn't have a bow at the time, but my thought was I'd go in the gate, I'll kill them with my bow, and I'll just grab the stuff. But arrows in Minecraft are, I don't know, I find them difficult to make, and it's not difficult to make, actually, but what you do, boat, hello. So the boat, unless you sit in it, will sink to the bottom of the ocean. This is good information to have. So yeah, an arrow. I can just do this. An arrow is just flint. It's easy to find. Some stick, that's easy to find. But feathers, and feathers, at least in this mod pack, can only be gotten, what I know, from killing chicken. And then first you need to find chickens, and you need to breed them, you need to kill them, you need to get the fatter. If I go around here and with my regular aiming skills, I will probably spend at least 20 arrows a squid. So that's not gonna work. But I realized that in some mods you have like bows that fire different things, or fire with electricity. So I built a, well, I went back home and I found, when searching for bows, I found the electric bow from the Mechanism mod pack. And this is not really hard to make. You need an infuser to make the infused alloy, which is just redstone and some iron. We already had that. And the energy tablet, just more infused alloy, some gold, some redstone. We all had that, so that's fine. So I built the electric bow, and by then we had a rudimentary energy setup, which I can show you. These thermoelectric generators will generate power if they have a warm block on one side and a cold block on the other side. And this powers the electric pump and the electrolytic separator, which is fairly easy machinery to make. The electrolytic separator separates the oxygen in the water and the hydrogen. And a gas burning generator can burn hydrogen to make power. This wasn't working as well as I thought because I realized my math was a tad off. I don't remember exactly what these were gonna make. I used lava and blue ice or something like that. But the electrolytic separator, I read, would take 500 joules, which is what mechanism generally use, a second. And these would generate something. So I figured I just need one or two of these to power it, but it wasn't really working. As it turns out, it uses like 500 joules per tick, and there are on average 20 ticks per second in Minecraft. So yeah, I had to expand on this a bit. So how do you get blue ice? Blue ice is actually crafted from ice. It's crafted from ice. So got blue ice. It's crafted from 9 packed ice, which is crafted from 9 ice. So you need ice, which you kind of need either a well, you need a silk touch pickaxe, I believe, to gather it, and then you still need to find a snow biome, and you have no idea how far that is, right? So I saw that this pure daisy could actually make packed ice, but I still needed the ice. But in a mana infuser, you could turn snow blocks to ice. So I needed a snow block. And then you can use the pure daisy again. So you can use the pure daisy, which is a flower that converts things around it in Botania, which is another mod pack. It will turn water into snow. And then I just needed to throw the snow into the mana pool with the alchemical catalyst, and it would turn into ice, and then I can place it back by the flower. If it sounds complicated to you, it's probably because it is. So I was playing around with Botania for a while. I built a mana pool because I made the daisies. The daisies are just 4 mystical white petals. Botania adds, I think, maybe 16 mystical flowers that you can gather the petals, and you can use them with some water in this one, and you can get either a generating flower, which generates mana, or you can make a functional flower, which uses mana in some aspect. The pure daisies is they are functional flowers in that they do not actually take mana. Not all functional flowers take mana. And if I were to place a block of stone, for example, close to it, you will see the sparkles. And this is the daisy in the process of making the stone into living rock, which you use to build a mana pool and some other things. Or you can place water. For example, if I had a bucket of water over here, let's grab some water. This will eventually turn into snow. Yeah. So I gathered some snow, fixed that up, and I was playing around with some machinery. I'll get to the fishing in a bit. Playing around with some machinery, and then I found this guy, the small water freezer. As it turns out, you take some water, you put it in this thing, supply it with power, and it just turns into ice, and then packed ice, and eventually blue ice. Which means that instead of spending 9 ice to get packed ice, to spend 9 packed ice to get blue ice, you just spend 1 bucket of water, and you get, well, it's now ice, it will turn to packed ice and then blue ice. So we kind of fixed that for the time being. So right, what did I do then? Oh yeah, right, I made the electric bow. And the power is important because the electric bow is powered by standing on the charge pad. Sadly, it didn't shoot with electricity. It uses electricity instead of durability, so you can charge it, it will never break. And also you can actually shoot fire arrows with the fire mode, which will thankfully not set a lot of things in fire, but on fire, but it will set enemies on fire. So let's not put it on. Still used arrows. So how do I solve this? I remember that there is an enchant in Minecraft called the Infinity Enchant, and that's why the bow is glowing over there. Which, as long as you have one arrow in your inventory, it will shoot and not consume the arrow. So to enchant things, you need a couple of things. Mainly you need an enchanting table, which is fairly easy to make. We had some diamonds, so this could be made. You need a book, and you need some obsidian, and you place an item on there and it will tell you what you can enchant, and it will grab one level of you, or 2 or 3 depending on which tier. You get 3 tiers. Books used to be fairly difficult to make in vanilla Minecraft, because you'd need a leather and 3 papers, and again, leather is an animal product, so you need to find cows, you need to kill them, and you need to grab the leather. And since ages ago, these mobs, the cows, chicken, sheep, or pigs, will not spawn randomly anymore. They will spawn a few of them, and that's what you get. And then you need to capture them, and you need to breed them to get more, or you need to go far away and find more of them. And at this time I had not even found one, so that's another question. But there are some easier versions here. For example, you got the string and paper, and string is also an animal byproduct or a cobweb byproduct, which can be hard to find, but in modern Minecraft they generally give you options to make these. And what I realized was we had found some hemp seeds. You find seeds by just bashing grass, so it's not hard to find. And industrial hemp fiber, which is also made from hemp seeds. So I expanded the part of the farm which produces hemp. So by now I will just have all the strings that I need. It's not going to be a problem. And paper is generally made by sugar canes. I guess it's a throwback to papyrus. So you grab 3 sugar canes, you put them in a row, you get 3 papers. These don't grow very fast, so generally what we used to do is find like a riverbed or make one, or just plant 30 of them or something like that. Because you can do, you can just grab the top of it, you can plant it. It needs to be planted adjacent to water, and you can also make sugar with it. So let's get rid of some stuff here. Don't need you, don't need you. Right, so that's also going to be a problem. So how do I make paper even easier? Well, I realized you can get it by sawdust. And sawdust is not that hard to get, actually. Mechanism sawdust, you use a precision sawmill. And you, when you put a log in it, you get 6 planks instead of 4, and 25% chance 1 in 4 of getting sawdust. If you put planks in there, well, yeah, planks somewhere. I promise you there is somewhere. Can I use this? I can use it in precision sawmill. Yeah, so a plank will turn into 6 sticks and 1 in 4 of getting sawdust again. and eventually you can also place the stick in it. Oh, sorry, no. Use. Place the stick in it, and you get sawdust. So from a log, you will get 6 planks, which will turn into a lot of sticks, which will turn into sawdust. So you're not gonna have a problem with it. You can make as much paper as you need. Right. So this is the guy. This is the guy. I can tell you, let's do it like this, and you get some sawdust. But these machines also require materials to build. It was becoming obvious to me that, like for example, to make the control unit and to make the infused alloys, you need the infuser, which took a lot of some of our resources, and then you need steel casing, also some of our resources and everything like that. So I didn't actually have enough materials to even build it at that time. So I need to get obsidian for the enchanting table. I need to build I need to get some books. I need a sawmill. So I realized I will just have to go and grab some resources. So we had some beans that I had grown. Like half of this was probably grown at the time. You grab some beans, you put them in a furnace, you get some food. And I went down. Then I had, instead of using the stair, I built the trusty ladder down into the depths. And I can just go here. You got some stuff over there to mine, you got some stuff over there to mine. I'm at depth 12, so you can find diamonds and whatnot. Lava is coming, obsidian. I promise you, I am using the ladder. I'll get to that. So I went down. I did some mining to get some resources for the sawmill, and the sawmill got built along with some other things. I get sidetracked easily if you haven't noticed right now. So, right, now we got the sawmill. All we need is to get some wood. So, at the time there were trees here, and I wanted to chop them down to make some wood and stuff like that. But I realized that I'm gonna have to swallow my pride and make some farm. So I flattened this out with some dirt, and I planted my farm that you see growing here. I didn't have all of these at the time, but I had the tomatoes and the wheat. I had some cabbage, I had some aubergine, and later on I found the carrots, the beets, and onions, and the rice. The rice I actually bought from a wandering trader. So I planted that to have some food in case I needed to go mining again. And I came to a tree, and you can, of course, this mod has a good leaf destroying thing. So you go like this, and you chop down the tree, and the leaves will just fairly quickly discombobulate into sticks and saplings and whatnot. But this is a problem, right? This is tall tree, and there are a lot of tall trees. So to chop down the trees, of course you will need this guy, the jetpack. So you can just go up to the top of it and you can start chopping down. And as a bonus you can get an enchant which is called Air Affinity, which means that instead of being slowed down when you're in the air and gathering, you can gather at a normal speed. That's pretty nice. So I made a jetpack, which actually wasn't all that expensive either. I had the stuff that I needed to make this, and it is powered by hydrogen. So you just put it in a hydrogen tank, it charges up, and you can fly around with it. And you can go like this, which is just up. You press space to basically jump higher, or you can switch it to hover mode, which will continuously drain some of your hydrogen, but it will keep you stationary. And you can just glide around like this, which is actually slower and uses a lot more hydrogen, but sometimes you need to. Alright, so I built a jetpack, and of course I built one for my friend as well, because he's gonna be jealous if he doesn't have one. It's also one of the earliest things that we usually make when we play modern Minecraft. So I go like this, and as it turns out, when I fall to the ground, it hurts. So you need these guys, the free runners. Oh no, sorry. Which isn't that expensive either. So you just made them, charge them up, and when you take damage, fall damage, it will use some electricity instead. And they will also use electricity instead of durability, so they won't break. Alright, so now I can get some wood going. I can get some paper. And with the paper, I can make the book that is needed for the enchanting table. Now, I already have that book, of course, but there's a mechanic in Minecraft that basically you have 30 different levels of enchants that you can make, kind of. And if you place a bookshelf next to an enchanting table, it will increase the cap, so it's capped fairly low in the beginning, and then every bookshelf would add 2 prospective levels, up to a maximum of 15 bookshelves for maximum level 30. And I had the enchanting table here, and I tried it out with the bookshelves that I had, and it didn't feel right having an enchanting table and a library in a factory, right? So I needed to build a library. And the thing that we usually do when we play modern Minecraft is I get so locked into the automation and discovering the different mods that I actually forget that Minecraft is about building things as well, and pretty things sometimes. So, not when I do it, but some people do. And I wanted to combine it this time. So I wanted to build a library. You didn't want to make a little hut somewhere. I wanted a proper library. And I noticed there's a lot of redwoods over here, which is kind of cool. Ever since second server I played modern Minecraft, I loved tree houses. I used to build my houses in jungles and stuff like that, and power everything with biofuels. It was pretty cool. And they can make these big ones. If you put 4 saplings down and you feed them bone meal, you get a bigger one. 2x2 trunk, pretty tall. So, this is the chicken. Apparently I opened the chicken fence when I was doing something the other day, and a lot of the chickens ran away. Just for the record, I am against keeping animals in real life, but I don't think they will have a great impact on the climate here. So, besides, it's nah, never mind. So yeah, I planted the redwoods here, and they weren't quite tall enough for this. So I took away the top of them, and I placed some dirt, and I planted another redwood on top of them, so I could get a really tall one. And I made this little house here. I haven't finished it. I'm gonna place these shingles around the edges and make it more pretty on the outside. Sorry. But these are not very cheap to make, but you can find them. I just haven't gone there and done that again. So I built this little house, and I figured I'd make another story which will turn into my library, which I will place some more books and some cool magical paraphernalia and stuff like that. And you can see these runes going into the enchanting table. and you place an item, and it will give you a few options. You can see the third tier here, the highest tier, can be a level 30, but this one is actually not placed right. There has to be a block of air between them, so I only got 14 working ones at the moment, but I didn't have to bother with that at the time. So you place an item here, you get 3 choices: the lowest one, the middle one, the highest one. And you place a this will be efficiency 2 if I decide to enchant it. Efficiency 2 and soulbound, which means it will not be dropped on death. You place some lapis here. You place 1, you can get this one. Place 2 lapis, you get this one. 3 lapis, you can get this one. And you need to have this level. So this one I can make because I'm level 10 at the moment. So it's only level 7. And you use 1 lapis, and it would actually not take 7 of my levels. It would only take the amount of lapis that I put down. So this will take 1 level, 2 levels, and 3 levels. And it will be the same all the time because the seed hasn't changed. What you need to do is you need to enchant something, and they will renew the seed, and you can get new enchants per item you use. Which is pretty cool. So one thing you can do is you can enchant books so you just place a book in, enchant it with the coolest one you can find, put in the object that you want, the bow for example, enchant, see, do I get the right enchant? No, alright, put another book in, get the cheapest enchant and keep going, and hopefully you'll get the right one. Also I made this one, my little observatory, which is made from mana glass panes and mana glass. You can check the constellations, the star signs, stuff like that. But it's not finished. So, okay, cool. These are made by planks and books. That's why I needed more books. So, I built a library, built my tree house, and I started enchanting stuff. And I wanted a few things. I wanted silk touch on a pickaxe because for another project. Basically, if you, for example, mine coal, you will get some coal. You will not get the coal ore. With the silk touch enchantment, you will get the coal ore, and this is important for some things. So I was just playing around. I had some levels, enchanted a bit. I didn't get the ones I wanted. Silk touch has a low weight to appear. Infinity wasn't all that easy to get either, but I made a lot of books, started enchanting, ran out of levels. How do you get levels? Well, you can kill things and get some XP, you can smelt things, and you can mine and stuff like that. And an important thing to note is that when smelting things in a regular furnace, a vanilla Minecraft furnaces or some other things, you get XP when you remove the items. However, if you use the smelting factory like we did, you don't get any XP. So I figured the easiest way for me to grab, unfortunately I found the infinity enchant eventually, and I think it was a level 28 one, so I needed to be at least level 28. So I went down to mine. I grabbed some of my... Wait, no. I wanted to go mining for XP, but I needed more food. And fortunately, I had this wheat farm going by then, right? And in vanilla Minecraft, you get free wheat and a row, or like this apparently now. You get some bread. But you can also check the... oh yeah. You can also make dough, which you can then smelt into bread. And a dough is wheat flour and water, which makes one dough. Wheat flour is easiest made by placing wheat in a mill, and you get 1, and you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting 2 extra. which means that every wheat is actually more than one bread, statistically. So let me just... I stole these beds too, but I stole them from zombie villages, which I think is kind of okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's bigoted of me. Right, so I'd actually made this little contraption to try it out, which is a millstone, and what I did was I made a millstone fairly early actually to grind something else. Place the millstone and you place a cog wheel. This is the create mod, which I haven't played around with before, so this was pretty fun. You place it not like that, like this. You see the teeth connect. You can put a hand crank on here and you can go like this. So grab some wheat, put it in the mill. You go like this. You see the particles going because it's grinding, and now it has turned into wheat flour. Wheat flour you can then combine with you can combine with a bucket of water and you get some dough. And you put that in a furnace and you get some bread. This I put down a stack of wheat in this and I started cranking it, and it takes a lot of effort to do it, and by effort I mean it takes a lot of food, so it's not very... I didn't like it at all actually. It's way too inefficient for me. So what I did was I checked out some more in the create mod. That's not the one. There we go. And I realized that you can make a water wheel pretty easily. This is my water wheel. So you just place it. You put some flowing water around it. In this direction. They are slanted up like this. So you want to push it down like this to create proper force. And it will actually create rotational energy, kinetic energy, which I have pumped out with a shaft into this gearbox, which is a vertical gearbox that can transfer the the rotational energy up and down, which goes into this cogwheel, which powers this mill. Now I can just grab some wheat, and I can throw it in the mill, and that's gonna be milling for a while, and we get some flour. Cool. So now I have a way of making a stack of flour fairly easily. I am not going to grab 64 different buckets of water to make dough. That's not gonna happen because buckets stack when they are empty. They do not stack when they are full. So either I would have to have my entire inventory filled with water buckets, or I will have to grab one water at a time and craft it. There are a few ways of crafting machines that can craft with water, like bucket recipes and stuff like that. I didn't remember any of them, but I realized since I was already using the create mod, I could. I saw there was this thing called bulk washing. These fans can be used for some different things. If you supply a fan with rotational energy, it will either blow or pull, depending on the rotation of the shafts. That's why I have this there. If you place two cogwheels adjacent to each other, you'll see that they'll go different ways, just like real life. and that means it will blow. And if you blow through water, you get something called bulk washing. Oh, no way. This is because of magicks. Hold on. Oh, yeah. There we go. So we'll blow for a while. This will eventually turn into dough. So you can just place a lot of stacks of flour here. Will become dough. And you can just put that in the advanced smelting factory. Oi. Is this full? Just how is this full already? The mana pool is made by crafting a boat out of living rock. Alright, so there we go. These store mana. Anyway, when the mana is full, these will not work properly, which will cause some issues. Anyway, so now I can get the dough, I can get the bread. So what was I doing? Yeah, I went down and I mined and I got some XP to enchant stuff. So I made a bunch of books, tried everything out, and I got the infinity enchant that I wanted. And I also got 2 other enchants which I really enjoyed. One of I told you before. The air affinity removes the mining speed penalty when not on the ground, and also the aqua affinity, which does the same when you're underwater. So I got all these other books, and I realized that in Industrial Foregoing, which is another mod pack, there is a machine that can extract enchants from items and either place them in a book or just convert them into essence. And then there is another machine that will convert essence into enchants at level 30. That way I can grab all these books and I can enchant like wooden equipment, extract it into essence, and then enchant without having to spend my levels. Unfortunately, what happened was they need pink slime to create, and I figured that pink slime is like a new slime cube mob that I needed to kill because you got it from a mob slaughter factory. So I figured that a mob slaughter factory maybe kills things and converts them into their liquid form, which is kind of true, but not how it actually works. It will convert any mob into pink slime. I didn't know that at the time, so I abandoned that idea for the time being. Now I got slightly sidetracked at this point and realized that I'd started doing some of this Botania work for the icy thingies that I did before, and I read most of the book, grabbed most of the flowers at the time. Oh, there's a burning zombie. Hello. And also, what I realized, this was important for some other things. If you have a rotted meat from a zombie, you place it in a mana pool. It will not do anything because that's the wrong mana pool. As long as it has one of these alchemical catalysts below it. It will turn into leather. And it's a lot easier to find zombies because they spawn every night. Kill them, get the other leather, and make leather. Which is used for some other things as well. Right, so I read that there is a multi-block structure in Botania called the Mana Enchanter. Enchanting with mana, yeah. Which can actually enchant using mana, and you place a block, an object that you want to enchant in the middle here, and you drop the books that you want to enchant into the object, and you supply it with mana, and it will actually enchant the item without consuming the books. This means that I will never have to find Aqua Infinity and air affinity ever again, or affinity and or infinity. I can just get them into books, and I can, for example, give them to my friend, so he doesn't have to make his own books. Bees are fun, but their hives prevent my... come on, die already. They unfortunately prevent the growing of this tree over here, which is an automated process. These mod packs require a lot of ROM memory. ROM. And this is a fairly old PC, so that's why you see the lagging whenever more entities spawn and whatnot. Alright, so I built that and figured it'd be cool in the future. But I had trouble getting everything to work, and this was because it's not as easy automating these flowers, these regenerating flowers, as I believed it to be. So I needed to make... Wait, come on. I needed to automate them somehow. Now, these ender flames will grab things that can burn. Don't do it, man. Yeah. Things that can burn and convert them into mana, which they will supply to a mana spreader. The spreader will shoot at the moment into this mana splitter, which will fill my mana pools. Not this one though, because I'm stupid. And I also can with my wand of the forest, I can make it shoot into this one. Gonna create runes that I need to make other flowers, stuff like that. But these ones, the power the gates to Alfheim, which I started yesterday actually, which was cool. I decided to go fishing, if you recall, like more than a week ago. And when I built this, for example, I had not yet done so. But I figured out how to make this work. These burn things, and coal has to be mined, which is kind of awful. However, charcoal does not need to be mined. If you have a furnace, I think I have an extra one, yeah. You get some furnace going, got a log. You have a furnace, you put a log in it, I can just put on, and you fuel it. This will turn into charcoal, which in many ways is very similar to coal. You can craft torches with it, for example, before you go down mining for the first time or whatnot. And let's see. Oh, the dropper is empty. That is not good. This dropper takes items in it and outputs it for the flowers to eat. So I needed to craft charcoal in a renewable way. Right, so I built these guys. Hold on, die. They are slightly annoying. Alright. See if the other one is still here. Alright, so right now what I do, I'll show you from the inside instead. Behind this coke furnace is my tree setup, and these factory block placers will take something and place it in the world. Right now I have them placing saplings they don't get as many saplings as they normally would because of something. But as you can see, this one is almost getting full, so it will start outputting into the other ones. I have it set to round robin, but it doesn't work for some reason. So the factory placers, block placers, will place the sapling through the dirt, and these small tree cutters will cut it, and then the things will be picked up and they will be placed in these boxes, which will be sent either back into the factory block places if they are a sapling. If they are logs, they will be placed in this basic smelting factory, which will input them into the storage, and then my dropper will pull them out and place them, drop them in the world, so they can be eaten by the flower to create mana continuously. And what I did was I built another mana pool and put these agricarnations here. Every once in a while, when supplied with mana, these agricarnations will apply bone meal to something that can be bone meal, like a tree. If you place bone meal, push bone meal on the tree, eventually it will grow faster. So they will increase the speed at which these grow. And what you see here is a magical flower's work. This is the manjju. It will eat leaves, not producing anything sadly, make mana, which is fed into this, which feeds these flowers. But these trees should grow fast enough that it will not always eat, which means they will be converted to saplings to renew the system. I can probably make this more efficient, but I haven't really bothered with it for now because I have a lot of mana. So that will automate these guys. Before I did that though, I realized they can get a lot of energy from the or mana from the thermal lily, which eats lava. And hold on, this is not right now. There we go. When it's in this state, when it's smoking, it will not actually yield any mana from any lava being eaten, but it will still eat lava. So I can't just keep dropping lava here because it will just eat everything. So I had to rediscover my love of redstone things. This is a block, which is a lever that can be toggled with pulses. And this is just a placer that will place liquid. And as you can see by this thing, it will only place liquids after about 5 seconds have passed. So this block will once every 6 minutes, because it has 6 soul sand in it, it will send a redstone pulse. And that will toggle this one, which will alright, so this is the off. So this should be off. It will turn on this one, which will then start working. When mana has been full, it will get kind of wonky, so I have to look out for that. But alright, so if this just toggles it every 6 minutes, then it's just going to be turned on for 6 minutes and just pour lava, and then it's going to be turned off for 6 minutes. So that's not going to work. I want it to work. I want it to be enabled for about 5 to 6 seconds to place one block of lava, then be turned off again. So these are redstone repeaters, which can be used to make a delay, and they can delay from 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 seconds. So you place a bunch of them, at most of them at maximum, well, all of them right now at maximum delay. It will actually delay it for about bit more than 5 seconds, and it will go in here and bam, toggle it again. And it's a very similar setup for the dropper. It will every minute or so, I believe, it will drop 2 blocks of charcoal. one because of the first pulse, and one more because of the second pulse that's being delayed until it can receive another pulse. So that's pretty cool. So now I have automated mana, and I can just make this spreader target this spreader, which targets this mana pool. So we'll shoot into here, which can be used by the mana enchanter. And that's the enchanting sidetrack. So I built this. I actually first used it yesterday, and 2 days ago I realized that I had been mining at least 2 or 3 times. I lost count. I had a farm which supplies me with more than enough food that I don't actually need to go fishing anymore. So I will not be deterred by that, so I went fishing anyway. So I grabbed my fishing rod that I made, and I made an extra diamond fishing rod, just in case, you know, the first one breaks. So I go out. This is another tunnel, maybe. I went out here, started fishing, went into my boat, you know, went around looking for squids, fished for a while, got to this island over here, and fished for a bit. And if you can't tell, I'll show you. This fishing rod is almost as max durability, because I think I grabbed like 2 fishes, then I got bored with the speed of it, so I did something else. And that is basically the gist of it. That is the story of how Zenter went fishing for about a minute after a week of work. I will spend any amount of time and energy to make a process more efficient or faster or more manageable. I am not really fussed about the end result. This is a common theme, and a lot of when I play games that need, for example, some automation or some management, I can spend days or weeks first setting up an interactive development environment and that I'm happy with, and if I still have some energy left, I will code a script or something, or just do something, a program that will help me manage it, and by then I've gotten completely bored with the end result. So yeah, I'll just do something else. Also, it didn't take all this time to make this for me, because I did some other things with as well that can show you. For example, if you go here for the dough, the flour can be made in a crusher or in a mill, and the crusher can make a few other things easier as well, or the crushing wheels. So these are 2 wheels that you make, and you have to be rotating towards each other like this, and they create more stress on the network than does a mill, for example. So in the create mod, you got stress units, which is supplied by generators. How much stress can they take before they stop functioning? And you got rotational speed. So I figured I wanted to make these, because you can do some other things with it. For that, of course, you need these ones, the mechanical crafters, which is made by brass casing. And for some reason, when I looked into making brass, I only saw this recipe, which is a mixing recipe, which is another create, a block. It takes copper and zinc and makes 2 brass ingots, which I can then use to make the mechanical crafters, to make the crushing wheels. So I made this one, And it needs a rotational speed of 30 per minute, I think. So I didn't think this was gonna cut it really to make these things. So I built a windmill. And this is not actually just looking pretty-ish. If I right click on the windmill bearing once, it will start moving and create rotational energy, kinetic energy. So at the time I did this and I built the mixer. I built the mixer, this one I built inside, and a side note, but to make the brass you also need one of these, a blaze burner, which is easy to make, but you have to capture a blaze. So I had to go to the nether to find an ender fortress to get the blaze. Then I died, so I had to go back and I had to get my stuff. So I get here and made the blaze burner. So you feed it with some coal and it becomes a happy blaze, which you need to make superheated heated recipes. To make something faster, rotational faster, you can either have a speed controller, I think it's called. Yeah, a speed controller, rotation speed controller, which will just let you input rotational energy and you choose a speed and it will speed it up, creating more stress on the network. But this needs an integrated circuit, and again I need mechanical crafters, which I needed brass for, so I made this anyway. And how otherwise do you make something go faster? Well, you shift gears. So the windmill will go into this one here, the large cog, which I then connect a small cog to, which will then go faster. And then you connect a large cog to that shaft, so it will move at the same speed as this one. And using the same model, we put a small one, which will then go even faster. That way I could create enough speed, rotational speed, to power the mixer in here. And so that worked, and I realized somewhere around then that I could just build an alloy kiln, which is a lot easier to make brass. So yeah, I got sidetracked again. Anyway, eventually I did make the crushing wheel. I made it yesterday, and these are clutches. So if I go like this, you see the rotational, it starts rotating the shaft down there. So the mixer outside is now working. Or I can declutch this one and it will grind. And I have this hopper hook, which is another flower in Botania, which will grab items around it. Well, in a fairly large area actually, and up and down, which is important, and place them in an inventory. So if I were to throw a bunch of wheat in here, it would become flour and seeds and put into this chest. So that's pretty cool. And this turns on and off the flour, which is important for, as you saw on the outside when I bulk washed, before they became dough, they actually disappeared and went into this chest, and that's because the hopper hook grabbed it from this side. I've had some other problems with that, but alright, so that's some of the functional flowers, some of the generating flowers in Botania, which is a fairly cool mod. So that was one of the things that I made in between the fishing project, and basically me and my friend got into other things. I mean, because we needed to expand some things. In most mod packs you can double ore, for example. In Mechanism you can actually up to quintuple ore, we made a quadruple setup, which is almost this one here. We have this basic injecting factory. If you put a ore in here, it will use hydrogen chloride, which is a gas we produce. Turn it into something that's put in here, which is purified, which is put in here, which is crushed, which is then enriched, which becomes 4 dust. So 1 ore becomes 4 dust, and that can be smelted for ingots. So 1 ore becomes 4 ingots. But yesterday we finished this one. It uses sulfuric acid to let's go with gold this time, because I need more of that eventually, I think. Alright, so this is a machine that mines whatever I want. So I didn't need the wheat or the fish eventually. Right, so I'll put some gold in here, and it goes into this machine, which uses sulfuric acid to turn it into dirty slurry, which is then washed with water to become clean slurry, which is then crystallized into clean gold slurry is crystallized into gold shards or something like that, which is put into this, making 5 ingots out of every ore. And this sulfuric acid actually we have because we decided to make a fission reactor. The fission reactor in itself does not actually need sulfuric acid for anything, but the fissile fuel needs that. So yeah, right. So uranium ingots is pushed into this one, which is then enriched and oxidized, which goes into this whole setup here, which uses sulfur and water vapor, among other things. And the sulfur, oh, it's actually out. That means I need to right, coil. Right, insulated MV coil. We can use that. See if we can connect. Yeah, we have an LV connector. Right, so before we did the fission reactor, we turned our hydrogen gas burning reactor into an ethylene reactor, which is a lot more efficient. It produces a lot more energy. And that is made by growing wheat in this one, which is then output into this box. And the crusher will turn pretty much any biological matter into biofuel. The biofuel is fed into the pressurized reaction chamber, which uses hydrogen and water to create ethylene, which is then burned in the generator, which produces all the energy we still use. So the garden clashes. Get some lag here. I built a lot of tubes here, so it's kind of hard to get into this place. Right. Sulfur is needed to make sulfuric acid, surprisingly enough. Don't get stuck on the conveyor belts, man. It'll lead to a crusher. So, alright. So, the garden clashes can, with the help of energy, which is fed through these little thingies, bucket of lava and another wart. These will actually grow blaze powder, but I turned them off because I got a lot of let's remove this one. We'll place a we will place a low voltage wire connector. This is the immersive engineering mod. I love it because it, instead of using these kind of cool futuristic tubes and whatnot, it actually uses more realistic things. So the wire connector is pushed into the relay, connects all this, so now they're working again because we need more sulfur, and they will output the blaze powder onto this conveyor belt, which is then 6 blaze powder, I believe, is pushed into this metal press, which makes a rod, and then you got the blaze rod that you normally get from killing blazes, which is then put into the crusher, and blaze rods turn into 4 blaze powder in the crusher, but also has a chance of outputting sulfur. So here you can see the sulfur is pushed into the chemical oxidizer, making sulfur dioxide, and the blaze powder that is created is actually put back on the conveyor. Now we can make fissile fuel out of uranium. So we made some fuel. And at the time, this little cool thing, which is a also create mod with a windmill and stuff like that, is actually a working elevator. So we built this here. This will take fissile fuel, which will heat up water, which will turn into steam, which is put into the steam turbine, generating heat, energy, I mean, which will then be pushed up into... Wait, hold on. This is a goblin trader. They appear sometimes, they're pretty cool. Except when you don't trade with them for a while, they will start hitting you to get your attention. So, unfortunately, you have to die before you start doing that. Right, so we did a test run. This is circuit breaker. We were very safe, I believe. I had read a lot of articles about this. Not really, a few of them. So, the reason we wanted a fission reactor is not actually to get the energy from it right now. It is to get the nuclear waste, which can be processed into polonium. And that is a gas. So I'll put a chemical tank here, which is what mechanism generally use to store gas. However, it would not output into it. I could see nuclear waste being generated, but it would not output into the chemical tank. So I figured maybe they need to be connected by a tube first. So I made a pressurized tube, which transfers gas, and I put the tube up here. I put the chemical tank on there, and it would output into the tube, alright, but it wouldn't put into the chemical container. And I realized that there is probably a shielded container, which there is, made from lead. So normally when you just break a tube, it's no problem. So I figured, okay, it's not working. I'll remove the chemical tank and I'll remove the tube. Everything was kind of working, and all of a sudden it started hurting. And we started dying. Nothing we did helped, so I quickly hit the scram button and we flew out of here. And I didn't realize, well, obviously we were being radiated, but they shouldn't create any radiation just around it, right? Not in that capacity anyway. We were still being poisoned up here. So at this time I realized that before you start a fission reactor, you should maybe make the hazmat suit. So I had the corpse run to make the hazmat suit while my friend flew out of the place trying to find where does it stop hurting. And as it turns out, me breaking that tube released radioactivity, which led to a cloud. Oh, this is a pillager party. A cloud of green particles that would poison and kill you out here, almost like here. I think it's about 80 blocks. These guys can spawn in parties, which is pretty fun. So yeah, that we still haven't turned it on actually, because we started doing some other things. There's a lot of mods in these mod packs generally, and it's really fun to go around and just trying the different ones. This is Astral Sorcery, which is a magic mod based on starlight. So this is a teleporter that I made. This teleports me to what I have dubbed the Astral Fields. Now, these are, for example, this is a crafting altar, which uses starlight to craft magical items. And it goes in tiers, so you have to build a bigger and bigger one. And you can gather more and more starlight. So we've figured out with that for a while. You can also use starlight in the infuser over there, which will create different cool items. You can also attune to a constellation with this one. So you go around in the world and you find old altars where you can find constellation papers. They will tell you the shape of a constellation. And when you find that constellation, you can then put relays in that pattern on this one. And in the night, as long as the constellation is in the sky, you can attune things to that constellation, which will give you different powers. So if you attune a person, for example, I am attuned to Visio right now, which gives me this perk. So then you have an upgrade table. So you see I have 2 available points, and I started here in Visio. And I can get some, for example, I have 10% increased movement speed. We got 2% added dodge chance and whatnot. But first you need to find these constellations, and for that you need a looking glass or a telescope. And in the night you will look at the sky and you will try to find these constellations. And if there are bigger stars blinking, that means you have a constellation there. So you need to find which stars are blinking. You have to match it with the image of the constellation, and that way you can find it and you can use its powers. So I made a telescope, and then I created this little house with a marble staircase. There's a lot of marble in this mod. White stained planks, birch center bar windows. And you go up here, and you got your little observation deck. So now it's day, so all you get is this little smoking stack. These are engineer's decor mod. So yeah, got a bit sidetracked, but I did go fishing. I caught maybe 3 or 4 fishies, maybe. So that's cool. And I'm actually probably gonna use this. I'm gonna automate it. This is an automated fishing thing. But normally in games, like on Steam and stuff like that, if there is a fishing achievement in a game, it will be the first one I get. I do enjoy fishing. I do enjoy fishing in real life as well. I don't enjoy catching fish because I don't really have a need of catching and killing them, but I enjoy the activity. So when I go fishing, I won't use a hook. Maybe I'll just tie a worm to it and I'll throw it in and I'll sit there drinking beer and maybe, well, not anymore, but I used to smoke a pipe. It felt kind of fitting, you know, smoke a pipe, grab a beer, sleep beneath the tree and fish. I don't know. Not to glorify smoking, it's not a good habit, so I dropped it, but we're young ones, right? And make stupid decisions. Still make stupid decisions, but you know. That's not the point. This is a beetle. He will charge me. He will not be my friend. I think you can tame them. Yeah, right. Well, that's pretty much it. This is used for the quintupling of the ore, for example. This uses water put into this tower, which is then using solar power and heat to create it into brine, which is used for one of the things. It can also be put into here, which converts it into liquid lithium. which I have piped down here, and it's piped into a chemical crystallizer, which it's put in the condensator, which condenses it into gas, which is put into a chemical crystallizer, which makes lithium dust that I needed for this thing, an induction matrix, which is basically a big battery, which is expandable. So the plan is to get the fission reactor going. We'll make some polonium, we'll grab the energy in here, and we'll be happy. Oh no, it's night. Let me show you this real quick. This is my trusty umbrella. It can be used as a shield or as a glider. Whee! Oh no, it's not night actually. It's a eclipse. All right. Well, that's me going fishing and some other things. Thanks you for watching. See you around.